Hey guys, GBA here, welcome back to the channel. Now this was a really fun battle to play, and it will probably be a really fun one to watch. We're back with Rearshots on Romans, that's right. Now these games won't be the most MLG Pro games you're ever going to watch, but they're just a little bit interesting. You can see the map here, man. You cannot like... it's not going to be crazy good, but it's very nice to just see Romans taking an arrow in the back. Who doesn't like to see that? I know I do. Very nice looking map actually. Amasia, I think is the name of it. It's in autumn, so you've got these beautiful trees. Beautiful plumage on the trees there. And my opponent has of course picked Rome, and I picked Galatia. Now, Galatia is interesting because I can match them toe-to-toe with the skirmishers, because I do have access to Syrian archers. And I can also match most of his infantry toe-to-toe because I have Galatian legionnaires. Now we'll see if I even have to use them. There may be a hint as to, you know, what happens in this battle here. So I've got naked swords. Let me just go overhead because you can actually see stuff properly. Yeah, my opponent, what a noob. He's going to go for my Galatian raiders with his equites. So that's a little bit of an indicator of how this match goes. So we've got Velites, Syrian archers, 3 of them, Legatus, Praetorians. Yep, that's right, Praetorians. Sokihak, Hastati, 3 of them, Triari, Armored Legionnaires, Eagle Cohort, First Cohort. Fucking hell, make your mind up. It's almost as if he was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pick one of every single unit and we'll see how it goes. That's a challenge actually. I'd like to see that. You know, one person bringing an army with every single unit that they can bring, except for Ard, obviously, that'd be stupid. Kappa's going to chase after the Equites. Down to 14 men on one of them, and the other one's starting to suffer. Now, in the center, I've got 2 Celtic Slingers in the center to kind of fend off attacks. I've got Mercenary Syrians, Galatian Spears, Levy Freeman, Cappadocian Cav, Naked Swords. So I'm just going to put it in play just while we look at this. So I've got archers for getting angles on enemy on enemy infantry once they engage. I've got Levy Freeman to screen against, you know, archers and horse archers, that kind of thing. I've got Galatian Spears that can destroy meat shield units, and I've also got anti-infantry with the naked swords. I've also got the Cappadocians, which will hopefully knock over enemy infantry, where I can follow in with the naked swords as well. So in the center, I've got, well, on this flank over here, I got pretty much the same thing, but it's all getting a little bit jumbled up because I've got units kind of getting into combat. In the center, I've got Galatian Legionnaires, 4 of them, a Naked Sword, and a Noble Horse Gen. So let's jump into this battle. You can see what I've done is I've organized my units into hiding up on these hills. So my opponent is going to be approaching this kind of thing. He's probably going to see these units down here and just go, "You, yeah, buddy, going to take on these guys in the center." And then that's the point where I kind of expect to kind of crash in on my opponent because I've got a really nice position up on these hills. Now, over here, it's a little bit confusing because, yeah, I did manage to destroy the cavalry, so my opponent already has run out of cavalry. And this is where the skirmishing engagement is going to start happening. Thankfully, he started firing on my Celtic Slingers, which is hectic. I have a missile block chance on those guys, so I'm going to be able to win that out. And I'm going to start pouring in the Mercenary Syrian fire in on these units here. But he does have these Velites, which could be quite scary to face. If I don't have, you know, anything to deal with those units. Looks like he's getting a little bit too close for comfort. Just eyeing off my Syrians here. At some point, yep, here we go. So I've got my Galatian Spears. They're going to start screening. I don't think he's firing on my Mercenary Syrians, though he's going to get a couple of kills on them anyway, just because they're a little bit closer. The focus fire is starting to pay off against his Syrian archers. They're starting to drop a little bit quicker. But yeah, fuck, look at this army. It's hilarious. Like, Armored Legionnaires, Eagle Cohort, First Cohort, Gladiator Spearmen, Hastati. Like, legit, he's got pretty much one of everything. There's no organization to this army at all. I get a little bit too close with my Mercenary Kappas, and I'm going to pull them back. Again, you can see over here, I'm getting fairly nice angles in here with my my Mercenary Syrians in on those archers over there. So just an absolute killing field being deployed here. I am losing a Celtic Slinger, but that seems like a very good trade to take out a couple of auxiliary Syrians. These Eagle Cohort are going to start suffering, so I'm going to start launching some kind of mobilization out in this flank over here. And over here, we've got Soki Hastati just eyeing off my units here. I'm going to push back his Velites with these Levi Freeman. I don't really mind if they get killed. They're just kind of meat shielding units. But he's going to bring in a Soki Hastati and get into my Levi Freeman. I'm going to have to pull back. So these units are actually pretty good at dealing with, enemy skirmishes, that kind of thing. But yeah, you can see the anti-infantry I'm bringing in here. A double punch delivered at pretty much the same time. Naked Swords and Mercenary Cappadocians getting a nice charge in here, just locking down a couple of units. Soki Hastati already starting to waver, and I got Frenzy Pop now, and I'm going to start getting these Levi Freeman in here just for a bit of stabilization in this fight. They're going to pick up ridiculous amounts of kills, 63 already. They've only been in combat for a couple of minutes here. My auxiliary Syrians are going to start changing targets onto the next Syrian archer. It's just, I don't know why, I really like this battle. I just like the way it panned out. But yeah, you can see my Galatian Raiders are going to start to come around the edge and go after his Legatus. I was trying to hope to get into them and just bring them out of the fight completely. Now, we've got a bit of a danger happening over here. We've got Soki Hastati and Praetorians coming around this flank. I'm going to get a really cheeky, flank charge in here with my Cappadocians. Hopefully take these guys out of the fight quickly enough for us to get a nice charge on those Praetorians. But it looks like he's going to be wrapping around the edge here. So I'm going to have to try and deliver some kind of defense. And the defense is going to be in the form of these Galatian Legionnaires. So I'm going to bring them over just to meet the Praetorians head on while I get my flanking charges in and that kind of thing. So I'm going to pull my Cappadocians all the way out over here, just out of harm's reach. Over on this flank, I'm going to get an engagement happening. Got my Naked Swords coming downhill on a very nice charge into the Eagle cohort. The Cappadocians are doing the same thing, going to get a very nice downhill charge on those Armored Legionnaire. And I'm going to bring my Naked Swords are just going to do the job themselves. So it looks like they're happy to just kind of take that engagement. I do have a Galatian Legionnaire ready for a rear charge. So I probably should be reversing the roles. Getting the Galatian Legionnaires into the fight and then, flanking with a Galatian Legionnaire. But I'm doing the opposite. My support units are kind of meeting them head on. And I'm going to engage, piece by piece with my Galatian Legionnaires. Over here, we get a good engagement against this first cohort. A bit of an awkward terrain here. You can't pass that terrain, so I've had to kind of get into him from the side. These Syrian archers are free to attack these Hastati. I'm going to take them out of the fight before they can kind of join in any engagement. These Galatian Legionnaires just getting into it with these Praetorians. Going to hold on to this engagement for a very long time, though eventually those Praetorians will actually win that engagement. We've got Praetorian Guard and a oh yeah, so new units. We destroyed those Soki Hastati pretty handily, but he's going to be bringing in these Hastati, which opens up their rear to a lot of fire from my Celtic Slingers and Syrian Archers, that kind of thing. So definitely going to be firing in on those Praetorian Guard at this point. Over here, we do have the last Armored Legionnaire. It's going to be surrounded. Going to be getting into them with my Barbarian units. So beautiful, so beautiful. My Galatian Raiders actually getting into this engagement. I probably should have held them back and just taken shots at the Legatus General instead of engaging. But I was kind of confident that they would win out. They've got 42 melee attack and 40 weapon damage. I really thought that they would be able to pull this out, but 2 against 1, I think we only just end up winning that engagement, which is pretty annoying. Over here, he's clumping up, doesn't know what to do. I'm going to be able to get my own mercenary Cappadocians into these Velites. Don't want them influencing the battle at any point. My Cappadocian Cav are coming around for another rear charge, still holding with these Galatian Legionnaires, and he just doesn't know what to do. He's going to kind of pull them in against these Galatian Legionnaires, and this is so juicy. I'm going to start mobilizing my troops to get some shots into the rear here. I was thinking about doing a rear charge, but not with mercenary Syrians. Probably not the best idea. But yeah, juicy targets all over the place. These first cohort just showing me their bums. I'm going to start charging up there and poke them with a stick or something like that. I think a noble horse would probably do. They are starting to win 120 kills, and my Naked Swords have lost 30, and my Galatian Legionnaires are probably going to start to fail there. He's put his units into attacking Testudo, so that probably just shows how well the skill level of my opponent here. So this is not me saying that I'm an amazing player or anything like that. This is just a fun battle to watch. Well, I hope. Anyway, look at the mountains in the background. Beautiful. Anyway, Praetorian Guard getting shot in the back. This is what it's all about, the rear shots on Romans. Unfortunately, there's a lot of forest around, so they're going to be able to be defended fairly well. But I'm just getting absolutely gangbanged here. These Galatian Legionnaires are in a dangerous place, but I'm getting some very nice charges in here with the mercenary Cappadocians. I'm going to get a nice charge into the back of the Praetorians, and these Hastati are starting to fail as well. These first cohort, they're going to be absolutely brutalized by some naked men in the rear. These guys are going to get a very nice charge. I think with the Frenzy charge activated, their charge bonus goes up to something ridiculous, like 60 or something like that. Over here, get a noble horse into the back of these Hastati. Gonna start to threaten their morale, but we'll see if it actually ends up happening. We do have the attack order issued by these naked swords. We'll see how brutal this is as they come in. Go, my naked men. They're gonna get some scalps right there. First cohort comes out of attacking Testudo, which is probably a good idea. Probably should have been doing that from the start. And the naked men are in amongst it, and he's put them back into attacking Testudo. Don't know why. But yeah, it looks like they're just about to fail there, and they have. So, a couple of rear shots on Romans. It was a bit of a lie. There was only really one point in the battle where we got some actual rear shots on Romans. But thank you, Frank Sec, for the game, number 17. Apparently there's all 16 of you before number 17, so good to fight the 17th Frank Sec. We've got Noble Horse, 72 kills. Galatian Raiders just piling in the kills. I think they were getting after the enemy skirmishers and also the enemy general there. Celtic Slingers pulling an amazing amount of kills, 249 on the mercenary Syrian archers. That must have been the one that was getting the shots in the rear there. Cappadocians used pretty well out in the flanks. Galatian Legionnaires, blah 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 blah. Naked swords, all that kind of stuff. And the Roman did all right, not too bad. Yeah, I think I might try that actually. Do a Roman build with every single different unit that you can bring in the Roman army roster, because there is a lot of infantry. I think they probably have the widest selection out of any faction, I would expect. I don't actually know that for sure. But that'd be cool to see that kind of army being brought, and if it can be successful. I might actually do that. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed Rearshots on Romans, and we'll see you guys next on the channel. This is GDBS signing out. Peace.